Good morning. Welcome to the Blood Moon Oracle. I hope you guys are well today. We're going to take a look at the energy for this week, the last week of August, and we will be in September and almost to the last quarter. Is the third quarter. September ends the third quarter, and then we'll go into the fourth quarter of the year, and we'll be in 2026. See how fast the year went by? And so let's take a look at this week. Let's see the energy coming through for us this week. I'll be working with a couple of different decks. The first one is What's the Vibe? That's a new deck I'm working with. And then the second one will be a Kipper deck that I picked up by Ciro Marchetti, the Kipper deck. And then we'll go ahead and tap into our Abundance Oracle deck as well. And then lastly, we're going to do the Tarot of Oppositions is the tarot deck we're going to use. And so I hope you guys are well this week. Happy Monday. May not be so happy because it is Monday, but we're here. And if you're listening to this, you're obviously, able to ascertain the time and think, and you're in your right mind, hopefully. And so let's take a look and see what's in store for us this week, okay? Blood Moon Oracle is the channel. My name is Letty, okay? Short for Leticia. And let's take a look and see what is in store for us this week. Like, share, comment, subscribe if you feel led to do so. If you have not subscribed yet and you are subscribing for the first time today, go ahead and hit the bell if you want to be notified whenever new content posts, okay? So I hope you guys got some rest over this weekend. It's a rather busy weekend for me, but I think I made up for it yesterday. And I peeled myself out of my bed this morning. And so let's take a look and see what the energy is for this week, Spirit. Please and thank you. For our viewers, what is the energy for this week? Today feels like it's just kind of like a slow day, Let's see here. So we have the Five of Cups on the shadow side. Then we have the Four of Pentacles right side up. And we have the Empress coming through also on the shadow side. Okay. Let's see what's happening for you internally this week. Internally on this week for my viewer. We have the Emperor coming through on the shadow side. We have the Knight of Pentacles on the shadow side. And we have the Four of Cups coming through on the shadow side as well. And what is approaching you? We have the Justice coming through on the shadow side, the Two of Swords on the shadow side, and the Ten of Swords coming through on I think it's the light side. And so lots of shadow energy coming through. And what is it that we don't see is the Temperance on the bottom, on the shadow side, the Ace of Swords on the light side, and the Knight of Wands. It almost feels like the need to understand patience in this moment as we're moving forward is kind of like what's not seen, the need to be patient here with this moment. So let's take a look at these energies coming out. I'm just going to grab a couple of oracle cards before we get started. Take a look at the overall energy coming through this reading. And we have a mature man, great fortune, and sudden wealth coming out. That's the overall energy. And what is it that you need to be aware of this week? The energies you need to be aware of this week. Okay. though a lot of dark energy is coming out, it could still be very encouraging, and it may just be something that needs to be revealed, illuminated. What is the encouragement that you want to leave with my viewer for this week? The encouragement for my viewer for this week. All right, so let's get started. So we're going to start off with the energy, the current energy that we're sitting in right now for this week. And we have the Five of Cups that came out on the shadow side, which is all about the energy, kind of like the Five of Cups is possibly needing to walk away from something and having a difficult time doing it. Usually in the Rider-Waite Tarot, the Five of Cups shows someone with 5 cups laying before them. 3 of them are spilled, 2 of them are still standing, but the focus is on the 3, right? What has been lost instead of what is still salvageable, right? And so that may be the energy coming through this week. In this picture, there's a woman sitting at the table focusing on the cups that are spilled instead of the 2 that are still upright, right? And so there's some level of suffering that could be taking place depending on how we're looking at our situation. And it could be an ending. This could be the emotional response that is happening this week. Could end up being something very dramatic, right? If we drag it out that way. So this may be a need to kind of shake off. Spirit may be telling you to shake it off so that you can move forward, right? This is not a time to go into self-pity, if that's what we're dealing with this week. There's a remembrance that will come to teach us some type of lesson here. It's not for us to sit here and stay here, but there's some remembrance that will come up this week through this energy to remind us of lessons, why we go through these lessons, possibly the reason for this particular lesson that we're having a hard time digesting and walking away from. I also have the Four of Pentacles that comes out on the light side. Now, the Four of Pentacles is usually a very reserved energy on the light side. It is showing a positive skill, a virtue, or a ability that you have that you're able to utilize if it's used correctly to generate success. And this is not only materially, right? This could be success overall, however it is that you would desire it. And so Spirit is encouraging you through this week with whatever it is that you have, that you're utilizing, your gifts, your talents, whatever it is that you possess, not to stop, right? Spirit is letting you know this week that you need to keep going. And keep going without limiting yourself. There's something about past victories, not letting those be your ceiling, right? There's the possibility that you can actually take it past that. The thing about the Four of Pentacles is that there's an appreciation coming through here, especially being that it follows the Five of Cups. There's something about being appreciative for the lessons, good and bad. Really finding out why and utilizing that information as you move forward into these victories that will take you higher than you've ever gone previously. Okay. Interestingly, too, we have the Empress, not the High Priestess, the Empress coming out here, but the Empress is on the shadow side. It's on the shadow side. And on the shadow side, I'm looking, and she is still sitting on the throne and almost offering something to the ego. The eagle, the bird, the eagle, not the ego. And the Empress generally symbolizes nature and this very godlike or goddess-like virtue, very nurturing and expressive and very good at manifesting, right? Now, on the shadow side, this is realizing for whoever this is for, okay, that what you have is so powerful. There's a need to understand that, Spirit is saying. The Empress on the shadow side can sometimes use that power, that energy to manipulate, or in this case, with the energy that the Empress carries, it may be used to seduce, okay? Specifically using that word, seduce, right? And so, but there's the understanding that there's no need to do that. There's no need to dominate selfish impulses or try to foster that energy in others, Spirit is saying, with the Empress coming out in reverse. It's all about understanding how you help others. And anytime you have lost touch of that power or that talent that you have, it's going back to refoster that and doing it the right way. Okay. Whenever we enter into that energy of deception, right, there's the need to remember that whatever we're putting out, we're inviting in. So in essence, Spirit is saying if we're acting deceptively, we are opening the door to be deceived as well. And so there's something here about utilizing what you've been given instead of trying to take a shortcut or trying to avoid doing the work. There's something here about maybe losing touch with what you have at your disposal to help others and possibly being tempted to do it a different way to elicit a reaction quicker. But it's not going to be good in the long run is what I'm getting. Okay. And when I look at the overall energy of the reading, we're looking at 3 distinct cards, very powerful cards. The first one was Great Fortune. It's being poured out on someone. The energy, we're entering into this energy this week. Things are taking place. This may, in fact, be Spirit instructing you on how to secure this energy or the availability of what you're walking into, right? How to secure that. Because sometimes we can walk into abundance or walk into a great season because we don't understand we're in it. We could do something and shut those doors, right? There's something here about understanding the energy that you're in and the expectation around that, these opportunities that are available for you. We also have sudden wealth coming out. So there's something here about abundance, and it may in fact be physical, literal abundance is what I'm feeling. That's what this energy is about. We have the number 11 and 26, which, could be an 8. And then it has something to do with a mature man. And immediately I'm thinking of inheritance for someone. That's what's coming up to mind as I'm thinking of the energy. But what's coming out for the energy that we're in this week, literally, is dealing with situations that may not be fun, right? This is, when we talk about the energy of harvesting and planting and sowing, agriculture, there's always that part that's not fun. It's always fun to read. But the part that's not fun is when you have to go out and do the work. You have to go out and till the soil and condition it. And then you got to dig into the soil and plant the seed. And then you have to go out and make sure that the weeds, you got to pull the weeds, make sure they're not being overtaken by the wrong element. Sometimes there is not the progression that we thought it would be. So we have to go out and find out why it's not progressing like we thought it should. We may need to go and do something else, add something, take something away, right? There's a lot of work here that I'm seeing that may not be fun work. The 5 of Cups is coming to a realization that, maybe things weren't what we thought they were. It's time to choose something else or to move a different way. And then analyzing what it is that we've been given. Make sure we're using it the correct way. For someone, you've been given a lot. Whatever you've been given has the potential to bring you possibly this great wealth that you're desiring, or that may be just really coming your way. I get that feel. This is something that is destined for you, okay? And when I look at how you are kind of dealing with what's coming out this week, this is really dealing with heart energy. Some very dark times, which is okay. Just because we are dealing with dark energy doesn't mean that it's bad. It may be things coming up that need to be dealt with, And how can we have balance if we don't have the dark? Having all light is not balance. right? And so just because we say dark doesn't necessarily mean it's negative or bad, right? So let's see what's happening within your heart space as you're dealing with these energies this week. We talked about the Five of Cups, the Four of Pentacles, and the Empress, but she's in the dark element, dealing with some things within herself or himself. And so we have the Emperor, right, which is the counter energy for the Empress, which also came out on the shadow side. Okay. We have the Knight of Pentacles on the shadow side as well. And the Four of Cups, which comes out on the shadow side. Now, immediately, when I think of the Emperor, right, I'm immediately thinking of a control freak, a megalomaniac, right? That's the word that comes up when I look at the Emperor in reverse, because it's someone, first of all, the Emperor is someone with a lot of power. But when that power is out of control or it's taken out of its realm of responsibility, it can turn into something very bad for those underneath its power, for those that are under its reign, right? But in this case, this is talking about what's happening within your heart. So there could be definitely things that is being dealt with on a very deep level this week. And so the Emperor on the shadow side is also talking about the same thing that we were talking about, with the Emperor, but we're talking about power here. Okay, using the physical and mental power or rigidity. It's almost like an attitude of a tyrant. And so this is something that is kind of dealing with the heart space, though. So this very mental rigidity and like a heavy energy within the heart space that's being dealt with, and dealing with the energies of ambition, what you want to do. It's almost like having a flow of energy, but feeling like that energy is stuck somewhere. Like having a command without having the means or the merits or the ability to carry them out. And so I almost feel like Spirit wants you to be compassionate with yourself as you're dealing with these frustrations. Be compassionate instead of trying to make something happen within yourself that doesn't have maybe the means or the avenue to carry it out. It's almost like built up energy, right? I almost feel like that's what it feels like. Pent up energy without anywhere to unleash it or flow, right? Sometimes can turn inward and turn into something very, and I don't want to use the word that's coming up. It could turn into something very harmful. And so Spirit is definitely wanting you to have compassion on yourself. Be patient with yourself. Be patient with the process. On the bottom, what came out was the Temperance, which was talking about patience. Definitely patience and giving yourself space to try different things. When failure comes up, it's like, okay, so let's try it a different way. Okay, that didn't work. Let's try something else, right? Temperance is very patient and very willing to try different things. I often look at Temperance as the chemist or the scientist. I don't know why, but I see patients like in a lab just trying different things, alchemizing, And so, and then the Ace of Swords is on the bottom, some level of truth, being patient as you are finding out what works, what doesn't work, what's for you, what's not for you. Sometimes we can turn that energy inwardly on ourselves and blame ourselves, and it could cause our heart to kind of morph into something that's just very unhealthy. And so there's something here I feel like Spirit is letting you know to be patient with yourself, be kind with yourself, make room for failure, but don't allow that to be the end all or turn you into something other than what you've been called to be. Be patient. Some things need to unfold in its divine timing. I have the Knight of Pentacles here on the shadow side as well. Let's see. And he's carrying a coin. The Knight of Pentacles is very goal-oriented. And it's talking about, on the shadow side, it's talking about the goals or the plans coming to fruition, but just not right now. Okay? So in your heart space, there's a need to recognize that there is something about timing here, understanding timing. Being in a moment of stasis. Maybe you're feeling like, again, you can't necessarily move exactly the way you would want to right now. Or maybe things aren't as exciting as you like them to be right now, right? This could be in work. It could be within your connections, your relationships. And this could be all about turning back to those things that have been neglected. Simple things, day-to-day things, emotions, right? Affections. Having an opportunity, right? To go back and address those things before you move forward. This could be what this is about as well. And this could be stuff that has been nagging at your heart space. So this could very well be things that you're aware of. Excuse me. My morning voice. Maybe there's something you need to say that you haven't found place to say yet. Give me 1 second. Nevertheless, it almost feels like in your heart there's unfinished business that will be addressed, right? Before moving forward in the way that you might desire to do that. That's what it feels like with the Knight of Pentacles. This slow moving energy that may seem frustrating. Because the Emperor is all about getting things done. In reverse, though, there's not that level of power that's available. That might come across very frustrating, heart-wise, internally. This is what is being experienced, a bit of frustration. Then we have the Four of Cups on the shadow side as well. The Four of Cups can come across as a bit of being isolated or just cut off, maybe too closed off or focused on self or some pattern of wanting things to kind of unfold a certain way, being stuck in that pattern. And so the Four of Cups talks about needing to take time for yourself, which is good, but too much of that, too much inwardness, especially if you are in a connection or a relationship, may bring a bit of, stagnancy. And so if this is concerning a relationship or some connection, restoration is at hand. Or there's the feeling like there's something that needs to be restored. This may be the opportunity to recognize that before moving forward, to go back and fix things so that the foundation is solid. And there's a level of clarity that will come in as a result. Maybe even bringing things back down to a simplistic standpoint as well. And realizing what it is that we truly desire or love, right? And so there's some bit of, I feel like it's kind of like a test that's happening within you on this week. It may even be kind of purifying motives, purifying your tenacity, your ability to persevere, what it is that you truly want. Maybe even being open to see other ways of doing things, that there are other ways of doing things, not just one way. Now, when I go down to what you need to be aware of, and I pulled that from my What's the Vibe, what came out really, it really resounds the Empress and the Emperor being on the shadow side for me. The two cards that came out, the first one was Lust, which kind of taps into this Empress on the shadow side, making sure that you're not seducing to get what it is that you desire. There's no need to. You've been given certain talents and gifts and abilities to secure these things without using underhanded methods, is what Spirit is saying for the Empress in reverse. You don't have to seduce people to get what it is that you desire. Now, it may take longer to get it. However, you have it within your realm of influence to pull that in as the Empress. Then the Emperor in reverse is really a distortion of power and a frustration from not being able to move in the way that you would desire, right? And so chaos comes out. These are energies that Spirit is saying to be aware of. Now, this could be you. It could be someone else that you're dealing with within your realm of influence that has some connection with you, but it's coming out. Chaos and lust. This is all about the downfall that may happen as a result of tapping into or allowing our heart to deceive us, right? Yeah, upheaval, disaster, downfall. If we're not able to correct the course, I feel like that's conditional. If we're not able to correct the course, that the Emperor would, on the shadow side, would allow his heart to lead him into, right? It's very chaotic. And the Empress is very lustful. It's all about greed. You know, well, I'm going to do this, however it happens, by any means necessary. Very inconsiderate. But Spirit is bringing this up and bringing these energies in so that we would be aware of them. Because we always have a choice. Yeah, I could go out and manipulate. And I know, you know, especially when you know what people want, it becomes very easy to sit in a position of manipulation and pretend to be what it is that they want, just so that you can get what you want. I always say it's all about intention, right? It's all about intention. But then on the flip side of that, the result is going to be exactly the same as the intent that was poured in. And so if the intention going in was to manipulate, then what I get on the flip side of that is being manipulated, right? That's what Spirit is saying here. With the Four of Pentacles on the bright side, it's like, use your talents wisely. You've been given exactly what you need to bring in your desires. Now, does it take work? Yeah, it's going to take some work, and it's going to take some strategy, some planning, some time, right? But it'll be secure. It'll be solid. It'll be what you asked for. And then there's the option of doing it the easy way, through manipulation, through force, through control, right? But on the flip side, you'll put in the time, the effort through those energies, but you'll end up with something very different than what you set out to get from the beginning, right? Is the energy that I'm tapping into here. And it's a choice. It's a choice. This could be your energy. It could be someone that you're dealing with. What's coming towards you? We have Justice on the shadow side. Two of Swords on the shadow side. And the Ten of Swords on the right side, on the bright side. And so when we look at Justice coming through on the shadow side, we're talking about the energy of considering from the gate, having an opportunity to choose what it is that we want to be, who it is that we want to be. And we're just talking about the energy of justice overall. This is a high level of integrity. When we talk about the justice, this is someone who is trusted to sit in high places, who is trusted to have a level of authority and power. This is somebody that other people will come to, you know, maybe even to solve disputes. You know, it's a high level of integrity, someone that can be trusted to do the right thing, to say the right thing, to act in a very ethical, fair manner. That's just the overall energy of justice. Now, the fact that justice came in on the shadow side, this is what is coming towards you. This is like the feeling of hopelessness, or maybe having to face the possibility of it. but realizing that things aren't hopeless. Maybe you'll face that energy, but in that understanding that things are not hopeless, it has been what we call a cycle that we're going through. And now is the time to pay any debts that is owed, right? We've all fallen short. And we come to the place where we're like, okay, maybe that when things happen, you're like, okay, maybe I deserve that one. But carrying on, I learned my lesson. Let's move forward, right? It's kind of like that kind of energy that someone may run into here and heal whatever that was, right? It's understanding what happened, what took place, justice on the shadow side. Everybody will be, they will face the consequences of their decisions at some point in time, right? Some people will be accused unfairly, accused of things that they didn't do. Like I said, it's all about intention. It's not really important as to whether we're guilty or not, but what matters is that now moving forward, we'll be able to make things right with ourselves and others by making the right decision. Okay. There's going to be an opportunity here of clarity that comes in of how we need to stand from here forward. That opportunity is coming here, coming towards you this week. A precedence that will stand, that will move forward in. And I feel like it's all about deciding to move forward correctly here on out, taking up the responsibility and carrying it in the way that it was always meant to be carried. And that's when everything will open up for us, right? We also have, of course, it's an opportunity. Doesn't mean that it's a guaranteed fact. It's dependent upon what we decide to do from here forward. Do we take responsibility? Whether it was our fault or not, this is more about the expectation of how to carry ourselves being in this position that we're placed in, okay? Remember, the justice is trusted to do the right thing. Then we have the Two of Swords coming in on the shadow side, still dealing with temptation. It's always going to be there. What changes is us, our ability to distinguish and to make the right choice, no matter the cost. The Two of Swords is all about that temptation that arises to choose the path that we want to choose. Will we choose deception? Will we choose lying? Will we choose this underlying fighting energy against others? It's not going to be easy. This is saying, this Two of Swords on the shadow side is saying that this is going to be the fight of our lives. That temptation is going to be strong. People may invoke this energy. They may try to pull out the worst in you. People will see you trying to turn a new leaf and go a different way and do the exact same thing that they know will hinder your path and cause you to fall over and have to start all over again on purpose. The Two of Swords is that energy. So temptation is coming. The minute you decide you want to do right, here comes temptation to tempt you to do the exact thing that you're trying not to do anymore. This may come through as people speaking ill on your name. But understand that we're all dealing with our own consequences, right? This is not really necessarily for you to go and square up with that person about it, at least not in the way that you normally would, right? And so there's something here about this Two of Swords that's going to give you a choice to choose. And the fact that justice is here means that it's going to be handled. And don't feel like you are the one to have to handle it, but it will be handled. This also could be setting you up to be seen as someone who can be trusted as well by how you respond to these situations. But I feel like Spirit is saying it's not over just because you've decided, okay, I do want to move forward and do it right. Temptation is still going to be there. It's still going to be there, inviting you to that old path. And then we have the Ten of Swords coming through on the light side, which is talking about battles, right? After the hardest battles and the most difficult times that may have put you in the deepest depths of your heart in sorrow, this promises better times, better days. cycles of being able to plant again, and cycles of renewal, of better connections that you'll make with people that you haven't even you don't even know of yet. There's a saying that comes up on TikTok that says, "You haven't even met the people that will love you. You haven't even met all of the people that will love you." Right? You don't even know the amount of love that is coming towards you. You haven't even touched the wealth that's coming your way yet, right? You don't even have knowledge of, the potential of what's headed your way. And so don't get stuck in this place, as hard as it could feel right now. The Ten of Swords is saying that you are walking into new cycles. You're walking into unexpected energy. And because of what you've gone through, chances are you'll be ready. You'll be ready to enter into this future, to change what you'll walk into in the future for the better, right? You'll be ready to dream a different dream than you dreamt in the past. This is all about hope, new light, clear intentions over you and those that you love, right? The Ten of Swords is almost like an awakening energy. It's the realization of the dark night of the soul and what it opened up for you. This comes after the Nine of Swords, which is the dark night of the soul. The Ten of Swords is the awakening to what that did for you. As difficult as it was, as painful as it was, as uncomfortable as it was, now comes the planting of the new, now that we're awakened, right? And then the advice or the encouragement comes in with the abundance deck that we pulled from, and I have extraordinary. You are not like everybody else. Understand that, accept that. There's a wild and impetuous uniqueness to you that deserves to be honored. And that honor starts with you. You honor your uniqueness. You honor those special talents and gifts that's been planted in you since before birth, that you've been given to utilize to make a difference in the lives of others and in your life. This is your wealth. Okay? This is your inheritance. Now, what you do with it is what matters, is what makes the difference. Okay? But honor that and understand that you weren't born to be like everybody else. That was on purpose. And yes, you stand out like the bird. Why am I forgetting the name of this bird? Peacock. I know it started with a P. You stand out like a peacock, right? Very unique. So just be you. There's no need to manipulate or to try to seduce your way into doors. There's something very innate about who you are that is powerful enough to get you into places where you are supposed to be without stepping outside of who you are. There's something very purposeful with who you are, and it's enough, is what the Spirit has reiterated. Letting go is the second card of encouragement. And of course, he's in a posture of meditation. Everything is indeed out of control, and God will hold it all. I can safely let go. Yeah. Trusting that things are being worked out. There's no need. See, when we don't let go, that's when the manipulation happens. That's when we feel like we need to make things happen, or we need to, create conditions to where, people will choose us or things will go our way. We seduce, we intimidate to try to control, right? All these things happen when we don't trust that our Creator is in control, that the universe is working all things out in divine order, right? We don't feel like we can let it go. We feel like there's more that we need to do. If I just do it like this, then it'll come around the way I want it. But this is saying that there's a need to trust. Even when things are chaotic and out of control and going, looks like they're going in the opposite of what we desire, understanding that there is a higher power that holds everything in balance. All we have to do is look at nature and see the perfect balance that nature holds. Who do you think keeps all of that in divine order? The same person that is, keeping our lives in divine order. And when it's not, there's a purpose for it. There's something that's being restored through the disorder. And so letting go, someone is being asked to let go. That Five of Cups. Yeah. There's something more abundant coming in. This is all about sudden wealth, great fortune, the mature man. Okay. So for whoever this is for, this is what comes out. I just read energy. Okay. I don't create the message. I just read energy. I have a feeling like there's something that's on the brink, right? And it has everything to do with how we move forward here. Okay. Lots of masculine energy. And so, yeah, this may feel like a test, and it may very well be of if you really do trust that the creator, the universe, God has your back, right? Yeah. Can I really let things unfold the way they need to? And trust that it will turn out better than I ever hoped or dreamed. And Spirit is saying, yes, you can. All these dark energies are revealing what needs to be let go, what needs to be surrendered, because the fact that you have already been given what you need to bring in what's yours is enough. There's nothing more that's needed. Okay, that's the message today. A bit long, but very insightful message. Let's see what energies came out today. We have the Five of Cups, which is Cancer energy. The Four of Pentacles is Capricorn energy. The Empress is Libra energy. The Emperor is Aries energy. The Knight of Pentacles is Capricorn, Virgo, or Taurus energy. The Four of Cups is Cancer energy. Justice is Libra energy. The Two of Swords is Libra energy. And the Ten of Swords is Virgo energy. So lots of air energy here. Heavy on Libra. Heavy on Libra energy. And so that's what I have here. That's what I have. So yeah, take it as it resonates. Don't try to make it fit. It may not be for everybody, but it's for somebody, okay? And you guys have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your week. Doesn't mean that you have to be these signs. You could have some of these signs heavy in your chart, right? And so it's more about taking the energy, the spirit of the message. But it could be on point with the signs as well. And so it does help to know your birth chart, mainly to know like what your sun, moon, your rising, maybe even your Venus, right? Just those major signs. Take a look and see which houses you have a lot of the same sign in. It does help to learn about your birth chart just for your own sense of understanding when you hear these messages, because you could tap into a message for another sign that's not even your sign, but it hits your situation like very much on point. It's because that sign is influencing a part in your birth chart. You would need to find out what that is and where it's hitting, where it's connecting, what energies are connecting in your birth chart, and what houses, what planets. Like there's so many layers to this that just brings in so much more information that you can, delve into. And so that's what I have here today. Thank you for stopping by to Blood Moon Oracle, taking a look at the energy for this week, which is really dealing with a lot of our stuff, basically. But it's clearing it out so that as we move forward, we have the opportunity to build on solid ground. Okay. not something that's going to be easily toppled over. It's to build with stability as we move forward. Okay. There's some good stuff coming forward for somebody. This is all about abundance. Okay. Your abundance. Like, share, comment, subscribe if you feel led to do so. If you find yourself subscribing, let me know by clicking the bell so you'll be notified whenever we go live or post new content moving forward. And here's to next week. I have a feeling I'll be coming back to do some more off-topic readings. Yeah. And so I'll see you guys soon. Okay. Take care.